Are we recording?
We are recording.
Oh shit! Welcome to Nerd Night Perspective, folks. I am Majandir, and this is the Fenarian Night as always, and we are here to talk again and hopefully record this time
Yeah, we'll see.
about Deadstream.
We'll see if this gets uploaded at all.
Right? We might just ditch it entirely because
I know we've tried
we
this.
also have a 3-hour recording from like months ago.
Yeah, as you can
That we
see,
also already ditched.
you can see by the length of this video, it is. We trimmed the fat a little bit. I'd say
Yeah.
there's. I mean,
In fact, we threw out the whole plate.
yeah. I feel like there wasn't that much we should have been. We had no right. We have no right making 3-hour long podcasts about movies, dude. We're just
About like a 80-minute movie.
The movie's not that long, yeah. So we're trying to do something a little different here and really, really try and be a little more natural with it, organic.
Chill, casual, not so dissective, but
Yeah.
still give our thoughts and opinions and our reflect our perspectives, huh?
Our
He
perspectives.
said the thing.
He said it's the name of the channel, guys. So we there really isn't that much to talk about this on this movie, and I'm not saying that like it sounds like a negative thing, but it's like this movie really is. I did really enjoy it. I mean, what do
It
you
was
think?
fun.
It was
Dude,
fun.
I had I had a pretty good time with it, all things considered. Obviously, it's not scary. It's obviously a horror comedy, but
Hmm.
it's a ride, you know?
Yeah, it's a that's a great way to put it, dude. And it's like this is a low budget movie. This is like I think it's for like this is Joseph Winter and what's his wife's name? The
Oh, I might have
directors.
to look it up again. Is it like Victoria or something?
Victoria Winter. The romantic duo, I guess they make movies and they directed this together.
Vanessa Winter.
Vanessa Winter, Joseph and Vanessa Winter's like first real movie that came out, and it is on a tight budget, you can tell, but
But
it
they
they make
make a lot out of what they got.
they do, and it starts off with some of the comedy and the laughs that you'd expect from a horror movie of this kind of style, and then they get some creep factor. I feel like get on the ride. You're on the ride, you get a little creep factor, a little horror, and then they go into the just being funny. There's just ridiculous stuff that kind of goes on throughout the movie right after, I think, right after the midpoint. It and it eases you into it, so you've come to accept that this is what that kind of movie is. And I think as long as you know that getting into it, or even if you're watching it fresh. Okay, so I didn't know anything about this movie when I first put it on. Did I tell you anything about this movie when I told you about it? Like,
Nope. You just told me that that's what I need to watch, and I'm like, okay. And I watched it, and I don't know. I had a good time. I think my biggest complaint was was just in the I know we talk about considering their budget and all that, but at the very end when he's supposed to have like a bruised eye or something, they just have
yeah.
like an eggshell, and you can see his eye at the top of it while he's like looking into the screen. And I try not, I'm one of those people that like some things I'll be like, no, just let it go, it's just a movie. And then I'll see like that eggshell thing, and I'm like, what the fuck is that, like,
Stickers, yeah.
yeah. And don't let that, I try not to let that ruin it for me, because this movie was fun.
It was
It was a
fun.
fun, I don't know,
It's
it's
a
hard to
beer
explain.
with your friends kind of movie, like you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I when I watched it by myself, the first half, I was buying into it. It had comedy in there, but like I felt like this is gonna be real horror movie, and I heard about it actually on Facebook. People were saying about how scary it was, and the comment section were like, "No, it's a good movie. It didn't really scare me and stuff like that." So when I watched it, I was expecting
There were
scary.
some eerie moments.
Yeah,
Um, the the corner man.
the corner man. Yeah, the corner man was getting me. I had some suspense there. And
Absolutely, we've all seen similar things to Corner Man on
yeah,
the internet, like shadow people or something.
yeah. I really like what you said before on our failed recording, that it was like it let you play with your imagination a bit. Like, am I seeing a humanoid
Yeah, I
there?
think
Am
that's
I
why he was
seeing
so
that?
scary, was because
Yeah.
he was as scary as you would allow him to be in your head.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll let more imagination play out, and then when he does kind of show up in the story, it's like that was the height of the scariness for me.
You know. Well,
And
I felt similarly with the bathtub guy.
the bathtub
Because
guy,
I was actually, I would argue the bathtub, just the bathroom in general, is way scarier than the corner man's corner.
it was
And but until you see you see him, and then it's like, corner man's scarier now. You know, like,
yeah. Yeah, 'cause you never see. Well, I guess maybe you do see Corner Man, but Corner Man and what Corner Man looks like in the end of them when they have the spear cam and everything like that. That was like, I Corner Man as the little ghostly apparition was still scarier, and I still kind of hold that little bit of fear onto him.
yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
but let's talk about a little bit of the comedy of this movie, or like the beginning of this movie, how it introduces itself is this YouTube personality, and I think they
He
nail
feels
it.
like a real YouTuber.
Yeah,
He does. He feels like a real live YouTuber,
oh
like
yeah, dude.
Twitch streamer, whatever.
Very very self-aware of himself, but also like not in other ways. Like he's got that kind of humor that YouTube influencers have, when they go out. But his channel is essentially like Jackass Light, would you say? Like like
Yeah, dude, the baby Moses challenge.
the Baby Moses
Dude,
challenge.
just swaddle yourself up and get sent down the river. Like, what the fuck?
And I love
You
that
know.
this opening line, because this is a found footage film, but it's playing one of his videos, and his opening line was, "I'm Sean Ruddy, and I'm a piece of garbage."
It encapsulates him entirely as I don't know about as a person, possibly, but definitely as a celebrity, or as a personality.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
So
he literally, and it was for his spiel on him literally becoming garbage and getting dumped into a trash compactor or whatever, or a
yeah,
garbage truck, I should say. Sorry,
yeah, and
but
his YouTube channel, like he does these things that scare him, and that's how we get up to the premise of the movie, and
well, it's like getting those people because he probably react. He screams. He gets those reactions that you
he's
like.
got such a good scream.
I on a really old recording I brought up that kind of made me think of Matthew Santoro. He had a gaming channel. Now he has one again. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't watched his latest gaming channel. I don't know if it's still the way it was, but the old gaming channel, he because he's a smiley little Canadian, and it was just so fun to watch him basically like scream like a little girl and crap his pants over some fairly creepy ass games.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he'd played some of the worst on the internet. At least I thought so at the time. This was a long time ago, but
The
you know
reaction kind
that's
of
what it's about. It's
was
just, and I could see that in Sean Ruddy as well.
yeah, Sean
You
Ruddy,
know,
because the director is Joseph Winter, and he's also the main actor, and he's playing Sean Ruddy, and
yeah, yeah, which
the
adds to him
screams,
again.
the screams that he does are just so fucking funny every time that he's like, ah! All right, we
Actually,
gotta.
I don't think the mic picked that up. You should do it again.
I'll just play a clip. he's but
Take
he's
three.
so
Oh.
funny, dude. He's like the way that he kind of acts, and and the audience that he has in the live chat, because now he's got to go to this. He gets canceled for some reason and wants to get his sponsorship back, and that one of his fears is ghosts. Who would have guessed in a horror movie? And now he's got to go stay in this haunted house for a night.
Hmm.
And I really love how like they kind of play on the trope a little bit, like the tropes of it, like that he makes up those rules, right? Like he can't leave the house. He has to stay in the whole 24 hours.
He pretty much has to eat those spark plugs,
Yeah, he has to. Yeah,
eat the key.
when he gets there, yeah, he throws these his spark plugs out in the freaking woods like it dope.
Like,
Like
I don't even think he took much of a mental picture. He's just like,
Yeah, yeah, because he had to know. He's like, I know myself. I know I'll try and get out of here. I'm a scaredy cat. And of course, like this is a trope. So like the car not starting kind of thing, like I think you said earlier, was like it was built into the movie. It wasn't like it didn't feel as contrived as it did in like a lot of horror movies where they're just like the car was working fine earlier, but now that Jason Voorhees is coming, the car won't start.
yeah,
And that was like a good play on that, and the fact that he anytime there's a creepy noise he has to go investigate it. He has to, or else he'll lose his
yep,
sponsorship.
yeah.
So he makes those
So it's
rules.
not like you can't be like, why would you go follow the noise?
Yeah,
Well, because
exactly.
number one, the movie has to happen,
Yeah,
and number two, he's gonna lose sponsorship.
yeah. So I like that they didn't try to just not have those tropes in there, because they are kind of like a part of horror genre, of the
Well,
horror
they put
trope.
him in, but they gave us a reason,
Yeah,
which the other ones don't. Like your
yeah.
typical horror movie.
They
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 do just follow the noise.
Yeah,
Cause
they're just like, oh man, we should split up or something stupid like that.
yeah, let's split up, gang.
Yeah,
Gosh,
no,
Scooby doing it over there.
100%, dude, and it makes sense. I like when stories build that into there, like Cabin in the Woods did that really well, I thought, and
Yeah,
this movie kind of
absolutely.
does
The
that too.
Cabins in the Woods. Actually, I don't want to get too off topic, but that movie actually surprised me.
I didn't, dude, I didn't know any of the commercials for that movie. Like they
Yeah,
never,
I didn't know anything about what was coming with that.
like,
Because it just starts off as like a stoner comedy.
and then,
Pretty much, and then it's like, okay, whatever. There's like the Swamp Man.
hmm
Who gives a shit?
who gives a
And
shit?
then there's like the big reveal at the end. It's like
Yeah,
that one
dude.
surprised me. That one took a turn.
Took a real turn, and I like that movie. That's another trope in this movie, is the cabin in the woods. You
Yeah,
know,
isolation.
yeah, and we were
I
talking
think
about,
I brought last one. I talked about The Shining.
yeah,
Just that
the isolation of it. Yeah, well, I mean,
cabin fever.
but really, like this thing is like, uh, I feel like is the most inspiration, just like from Evil Dead. You want me to talk about the Evil Dead reference?
Yep,
This is it,
yep.
dude.
I was hoping we could squeeze in Hugh. We found the one non-Evil Dead reference.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it, man. I haven't
Dude,
seen it
it's
in there.
clearly a huge inspiration to everything, like a foundation
Yeah, a foundation for a lot
in
of
the
like
in
B
the
horror.
genre.
Yeah, well, especially B horror movies. Like this is something that they you can see aspects of it a lot, and you see it in Deathgasm too, with like the way that the Deadites. I just straight up called them Deadites in Deathgasm,
Dude,
but
yeah, Deathgasm was fun too.
Deathgasm
I
was
enjoyed
fun.
that.
But
As you guys know, you- if you haven't, you go check out our vid on Deathgasm.
yeah.
It's only like an eternity long.
Yeah, dude. Check it out. Give us some views. Like it.
Right. Comment, subscribe.
But
Anywho, but
anywho, but
Evil Dead, and
oh
uh,
yeah.
Deadstream here.
So as the Deadstream plays out, Sean is like putting up all these cameras and stuff like that, and it's great because you get all these unique camera angles to see the
And they
ghosts,
changed too. We end up adding some cameras or
adding
changing a
cameras,
camera to a different cam.
and it works. The comedy of it too, like because he will like put a camera on something improvised. Like he made a spear cam, the jerky, the beef stick
Slim
cam.
Jim cam.
Yeah, and he types it out to put beef stick cam or spear
Yeah,
cam.
something
He
I
has
can't
to put
remember.
it on there.
Or him
Um,
intentionally misspelling the Chrissy cam.
a Christy cam. Yeah, yeah, the Christy cam. So as he's going through the night, dude, and he's having to fight ghosts at some point after we've kind of like lost the whole like we're gonna be serious scary. Now we're gonna be fun scary. So when he's fighting the ghost, it's like I feel like the Evil Dead. It's very Evil Dead because instead of like some kind of scary like they're gonna claw at you, they're just punching each other. They're doing the punching Evil Dead like zombie ghost guys the whole time. It's ridiculous. It's silly. it's absurd, dude, and it always cracks me up because that happens a lot in Evil Dead, especially Army of Darkness. Um, but that that's really funny. But speaking of the Chrissy cam though, so Chrissy comes in and she's kind of like you aren't really supposed to know what she is because I was almost kind of buying into that she really was who she said she was. Like she was just a fan because he's talking to the commenters the whole time. You know.
Well, it also goes with I kind of skipped a little bit. And that might be my bad. The um because she shows up right after. Well, you hear the knocking, remember, and then he breaks that hamso, which
Oh,
I
the
think we should
Hams.
talk
Yeah.
about for a second. Hamsa, yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. We should talk that Hamsa. Such a
So yeah,
cool
I didn't know what a
symbol.
hamsa was before this movie. I had to look it up, and it's pretty much in every religion out there.
Yeah, every religion, all the Abrahamic religions, Hindu, Buddhism, and
Egyptian,
Egyptian. I even found it in when I was researching a little bit on it because I thought it was such a cool occult, like a little fancy symbol. It's even has some origins like appearances in Native American, like indigenous tribes and stuff had it. I thought that was so cool.
yeah, yeah. No, that is really cool. I mean, it really goes all over. I'm looking on Wikipedia right now. It's like talking about the hand of Venus or Aphrodite,
Mm.
the hand of Mary,
Yeah.
the um, I don't know what the hand of the all goddess is, but also the eyeball in it. And you could talk about the the eye of Horus,
Yeah, the Eye of Horus, the
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 sky
evil eye.
god, and
Yeah.
yeah, the evil eye. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to explain what exactly a Hamsa does?
So it's like it is in the movie. It's like it is a warding protection against evil, and a lot of like the older cultures, from what I've learned from it, it's like it's meant to like the evil eye is meant to protect you from like the envious and like the like kind of people who kind of wish ill on you and demons stuff like that. It's meant to be like a protection against their evil eye, you know. And I
Hmm.
think that's really neat. You know, call this thing say one thing about this movie, it's educational. At
Yeah,
least
and
in that.
if you go into like a haunted house or dealing with ghosts and stuff, it's probably good to like know
Yeah.
about spirits and things because that kind of ends up what ends up screwing him really in this whole movie
Yeah, cuz
was
like
him breaking the Hamsa thinking it was evil because
it
from an
looks
untrained
yeah.
eye it looked evil,
Yeah, it
you
looked evil to
know.
me too. I didn't know anything about the Hamsa before
You
that
know,
movie, and like when he's like, "Oh my
well,
god, that's like demon stuff," and then he breaks it, and I was like, yeah, "I probably would have done the same thing, honestly.
right?
That looks evil."
Well, it's that eye. It's it's like that Masonic,
Yeah,
Sauron from Lord of the Rings, Big Brother watching you kind of
yeah,
thing, you
just
know?
yeah, and just the way that it looks very occultish, like it would be in rituals of dark magic and stuff like that. When it's actually
Absolutely.
kind of a healthy light magic symbol, but
Indeed.
yeah. Um, but I thought that was really cool. I love that they included that in there, having some real kind of folklore that we could kind of you can take that home with you, you know, afterward, and you'll see a lot of like the crystal girls that buy all the crystals and the energies and stuff and essential oils. They're probably gonna get those tattoos now. Well,
Right?
I might, you know, I like that tattoo. I like the look of
Right?
it.
Absolutely.
But you see on like the way that he interacts with his commenters was so funny. Like
The
they felt.
comments section, and this goes back to him really feeling like a real like internet celebrity.
Hmm.
You know, the comment section I felt like did kind of crutch with that too. You know, it made it feel really lived in on the internet, like almost like it was designed to like film like almost as if you were watching a live stream. You know,
Hmm. Yeah, it really felt like that, and it was like because it had like the people that were like, "Oh, I'm happy to see Sean's back." It had the people that were like really buying into the ghost stuff. They really believe. They're true believers. You know, the people that are like, "You should be more careful, Sean. That could disrespect the spirits," or "You should you should help them." And he's just like. No, I don't know how to do that.
right?
And then you got, of course, the trolls. That's who really makes it like the most
Right.
believable, is the people just
I'm an
shitting on
atheist.
Sean.
Ghosts aren't real.
Ghosts aren't real. There's like a point like towards the end of like the height of the climax of the action of the movie where stuff is really happening crazy, and he pulls up his live stream, and the live chat's just going. One guy just says, "This shit's fake as fuck, but we're still here."
Right.
Just gave me a real good
Yeah,
giggle,
that's right. That's right. I do remember that comment. It's real. It's relatable when you watch stuff on the internet, because we've all watched stuff that people are pretending is a real thing, and you're like, I know this is fake as fuck, but I just can't stop watching. Like,
Yeah, and
I
it
got to see
also,
where this goes.
and it's like, also it's like you were saying something really interesting. Kind of talk about unreliable narration or unreliable narrators, and that could have been Sean Ruddy, dude. Because like you talked about how this really could be all staged, in within the
Oh,
universe
the
of the
whole
movie.
thing. Well,
Yeah.
and they give it that feel,
Hmm.
throughout. Like, especially, I think the one that hit me the most was them finding that side stairway, and they go down, and they have the chest down there.
Yeah.
you know and all the clothes are like ancient, but they're not dusty.
Yeah.
Like,
Dusty, no. They find a lot
they
of
look
detailed
fresh.
stuff regarding the ghost Mildred, who
Yeah,
yeah, it was
I
really,
liked her story. And what was that, pond man or the water?
yeah, the
I
oh,
can't
what
remember what
was
he
his
said. What
name?
was his line?
Oh my gosh, I gotta look it up. I have
What
it.
was his line about the water?
Pond water is still, or something like
Yeah, I
that.
think so. I think that's exactly what it is.
That was so cool. Um, because it was a
I
good,
think that was a good eerie.
yeah, the pond water is still, yeah, that's what he was saying, and it was like,
Yeah,
and there was like kind of a payoff to why that ghost was saying that, which I thought was really cool, because it turns out, like he's going through and he talks about all these backstories to all the ghosts that you're gonna see, setting it up for their appearances throughout the story, so it's not just out of nowhere. So you're kind
that
of
these
looking forward to
monsters
seeing it.
already have origin stories to you.
Yeah, it really does kind of like, you feel like your time isn't being wasted when you're being shown pictures of the origins of the house, because then you're seeing them later on come in, like those ghosts. Like there was the older fellow with the mustache, the pond water still being part of a poem that Mildred wrote, which is the main
Yeah.
ghost, the one that kind of orchestrates and kind of like is the main kind of evil presence within the house. I thought that was really cool, really nice twist there. Um, well, it wasn't really so much a twist, but it was nice reveals of it. Um, the real twist being is that he has a super fan come in to his house after he breaks the Hamsa,
Hmm.
and she starts
Well,
hanging
there was
out.
like a thumping, and then he breaks the Hamsa, and then it's revealed it is,
Chrissy.
is it Satan? It is
Yeah,
Chrissy.
it's Chrissy. It's Chrissy, and uh, she's like, all the fans, all the commenters and stuff, people watching the live stream are like, they love her, So like he puts on like for a vote of whether she'll stay or not. And this is where you kind of see like some of Sean's kind of true colors of like he doesn't want to share the spotlight, so he's coming up with excuses for why not to have her on. But everyone votes yes to have Chrissy on. He's like, well, it's not going to be as scary, okay? And you kind of see that there's like a little bit of a petulant child, a little bit in him. Um, but and it's like they do kind of build that character consistency up, and they kind of tease a little bit of growth out of him, but this character arc is definitely like, I find it very satisfying, even though I'd say that his character regressed, like,
Yeah.
because the whole thing that was got him canceled was something that was a question that I feel like, maybe did I miss something? Did I not hear what he said? And then he's like, they're talking about it more and more on a second watch too, when I noticed like, okay, so this is, they did keep that vague. They did not talk about it until towards the end of the movie where he starts confessing about it.
Well, that's continually to the whole him being a YouTuber thing. I mean, they're
Mhm.
talking about like well-known internet, you know, drama from months ago.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Getting canceled as a YouTuber, it was kind of like his Logan Paul in the Suicide Forest moment.
Yeah.
He fought. I guess he fought some homeless guy for one of his videos, and I guess the guy got hospitalized, or I don't know.
Yeah, he like paid some bum to fight him, and he ended up putting him in the hospital. And
Yeah, and
I don't know. He's
he's like, he looked way tougher. I didn't know you'd do that. And he's like, he's really kind
yeah,
of apologizing, and then he's like, coming to realizations. I should never have apologized. Everything that's happened after that apology video, everything got worse, And
right.
I thought that was really interesting how his character growth really wasn't really much growth, but more of a regression. But there is like this path that he could be
Yeah.
taking to grow his character, and but it remains satisfying to see him kind of fail at that, especially way the movie ends.
What's the
Uh,
insincerity we see with apology videos and stuff?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's very performative. He was just kind of doing it just to kind of get people to lay off him, not really because he really felt bad about it. I mean, I'm sure there is like aspects of it for sure that like
He's conflicted.
yeah, he's conflicted. He does like at some point, at some ways, feel guilty, but he also feels like, all right, we should just move on from this. But
Yeah.
it really kind of puts into question how like what is a genuine YouTuber apology and stuff like that, which is a nice conversation that it kind of brings up. And but anyway, so Chrissy's on board with them and stuff, but she's kind of the twist villain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that one coming or?
No, I don't think I did. Obviously it was in the back of our heads the whole time because of how they introduced Chrissy.
Yeah.
You know. But as we were going through, I thought I truly believe she was just some crazy stalker fan. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Like I didn't see the twist really coming from the get-go. I mean, there got to be a point to where I did. I was like, "Oh yeah, that she has to be a ghost. She has to be." I didn't, wasn't sure if she was like Mildred or not, but like, like she ends up being revealed. But the suspicion was there too for me, and when it got there, it was kind of like a payoff. And they still do kind of have some creep moments a little bit with her, like when you hear the creaking, because she hung herself at the top of the stairs, and he's having to walk past that area, and you can hear the creaking, and that was pretty creepy right until the point that she jumps on him, and then they're just punching each other and rolling down the stairs, and it was funny, um, but no, that was a really good twist. I thought it was really fun because it's like you can kind of like you can figure it out, and when on the second watch, dude, like
It's even more obvious, yeah.
yeah, it's more obvious. Like they definitely left a lot of breadcrumbs for you to follow and pick up on. It's
Yeah,
really
it's just whether or not you wanted to believe it,
hmm
you know,
yeah,
until it was too late.
yeah, and he's trying to get out of the house and everything like that was pretty silly. It's just a whole back and forth because now he's having to like find the keys and failing at that, and he finally has to jump out the window, and then he ends up back in the house again after doing all that running around, and we see this is where we really see the budget of this movie because they're really having to tighten down on that budget. Like you can only get so far on being like truly like horror movie, and I think that the way that they went was like started off a little spooky and then went with the comedy route was a good
Yeah.
plan because this is where you're seeing the budget, and they're running off of like Spirit Halloween like
I
freaking
feel like it went comedy, spooky, and then solidly comedy.
yeah, it's
Because
like
the beginning was kind of,
yeah, it was a lot of jokes in the beginning, setting up his personality.
yeah. Did we get to talk about the holy heroin in this recording?
No, we didn't yet. We
Is
didn't.
those dirty
Yeah,
syringes
he
with the holy water
he finds the dirty needles in. Yeah, he finds those dirty needles in the cabin
in the house
in the
that some
house. Yeah,
squatters were shooting with?
yeah. But he's like, since he's fighting ghosts, and he brought himself his own little like silver dagger, and
It was more like a vampire kid, it
it was
felt like.
it was definitely a vampire kit, and he had holy water, and he uses like it was really creative using some of the creative kills in there, like
Yeah.
because he killed a ghost with like some shooting up some holy heroin, dude. And I thought that was really funny. Um,
Yeah.
and then he had the potato gun too,
I was
which
thinking that
yeah,
too just now. The potato gun scene was
it was
ridiculous.
it was really
They give you a
ridiculous.
kind of a gross factor on that one.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, the props and the masks there. This is why it really works because like the masks aren't really that convincing because of how silly they look. Um, but I do give them a lot of props for using practical effects rather than trying to use really cheap CGI because
Oh, that was.
they
I
do.
feel like physical effects stay like even if you start crappy, they usually still they don't deteriorate as hard
Hmm.
over a time period versus the special effects just get worse and worse by the day.
Yeah,
For any
and
any movie of any genre.
hmm
Your CGI even 5 years ago isn't going to look very good for much longer.
no, dude,
You know,
you
with
have
some exceptions. Some I think Lord of the Rings,
still holds up.
like some of the CGI but then again, Lord of the Rings used to, especially the original one, used a lot of actual practical effects. So maybe that's not a good example with the cast and crew and all that.
Yeah, I would say
The
Jurassic.
goblins and everyone.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Jurassic Park really still kind of stands up, I think, for their CGI. But
Yeah.
there really is a select few. There really isn't that many.
Yeah, and even then, that might be we might be being biased in that regard.
Might be. Yeah.
But point is, CGI never seems to hold for long. It
No.
may be good now. It's good if you want something good now, not if you want it to stay good
Yeah,
visually.
and at least with this, it feels like I'm laughing with the movie rather than laughing at the movie when I'm seeing the
Yeah,
practical effects that look kind of silly. I'm laughing with it. I'm like, oh, okay, this
yeah.
is
That's one of the effects of not taking yourself too seriously as a
yeah,
genre.
yeah, yeah. He was a really smart decision on how they paced this movie out.
No, I
Because
can't remember if I talked about this earlier or if I talked about it or if we already talked about the camera angle
no, he didn't really
with his
talk.
main three photos. And his that bracelet they talked about in the movie. They
No, we
actually did
haven't
that
talked
in
about
the
that yet.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, and just him actually having to swap through the cameras and stuff for a lot of those scenes, and it's just
super
like
cool.
clever. Yeah, just clever, just working with what they have and using it to the most.
Yeah, and it's
You
like
know.
they may have had like a low budget, but I feel like he had a better
No.
budget than most like freaking ghost hunters, and those
Yeah.
shows that you'd
And,
see.
yeah, and he's got a YouTube video that shows like a lot, like it's like 7 minutes or something of the behind the scenes
Oh yeah, with
of Deadstream on YouTube, and I think he's supposed to come out with a part two, but I don't think he has yet.
I'd
But
love for him to
but
do
if you want to
do
look
that.
into that more, it's really good for anyone listening out there who's a little more curious to how that movie got made.
Yeah, absolutely should go watch that because the movies like this that are on like a budget and like they're B movies and they're horror movies, like they just seeing them work hard and have fun. It's just, you see the passion, and it's just so interesting how they had to be really creative with a lot of like the sets and how they do certain effects. You know, I think that is great. And I think it's so entertaining to watch that. I think everyone should really give that a watch. The behind the scenes on that, but
Yeah, absolutely.
it's like around that point when he's having to go back into the house, he's finally figured out how he's gonna beat the ghost, right? And it's like the most YouTuber way of doing it. He's like, we got a copy striker. She's got to deal with the
Mm-hmm.
devil. We got a copy striker. And I don't. Maybe I haven't been in the YouTube game for long enough,
Demonetized.
but yeah, demonetize, demonize. They're monetizing.
Demonetized.
Demonetize. So he goes through and he does this ritual and he loses like one of his fingers and it's pretty it was pretty funny, and then seeing how like it was like kind of like whatever growth he was having at that moment when he figured out the solution, it was like I've learned nothing, and it makes it very satisfying with how the story kind of ends with him like maybe dying at the end or dragged to hell. And I thought that was pretty funny.
Or he honestly probably joined the house with the rest of those spirits.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking is really what happened. If any of this happened, like if in the universe any of it happened, it was all, it all could have been staged, and he'd be planning his next video of being like, "So here's how I tricked everyone on YouTube," you
Mm-hmm.
know, like
Yep, buy my merch.
buy my merch. But this guy, this actor, and the directors, they had real good talent with the comedic timing of a lot of things. His scream, his constant gaffes where he wasn't supposed to swear on this podcast or on this live stream,
That's right.
and he would be like,
Try not
"Fuck!
to cuss.
I mean fudge! I said fudge! I said fudge! I didn't mean that. Please don't demonetize me."
Right. That's the thing about being live, you know?
Yeah, because like he's going through a scary, like a haunted house kind of thing, and he's obviously gonna gaff and he's gonna say things without
Yeah,
thinking,
especially when he's actually getting scared, you know, if it's as legit as it seems.
Yeah. But it
Yeah.
was it was pretty great. I love this movie for that reason. I think it's a good like one-time watch. And I think I actually did see him in another movie where and it was actually another like he directed it too, and it was in VHS 1999. Um,
Yeah. I think you brought that up briefly in the Hubie. You want to talk a little bit more about it though? So like,
oh yeah,
is it a
totally.
sequel? What is it?
So in VHS 1999, it's like it was the VHS movies. They're all like a series, and they're all an anthology within them. So they're all horror short stories, and every time new directors get to come in and get to make a little short horror story, and some of them not as good as others, but they have on each one of those VHS movies. There's like at least one banger, at least one really good one, and his was my favorite in VHS 1999, and it was To Hell and Back. And it's kind of funny because like you can see they they reused a lot of the props that was in Deadstream. They also used in To Hell and Back, like that
Yeah.
creature that was guarding that was right next to the spark plug out in the woods, the little small
Yeah.
creature. I saw that in there and I was kind of like, ah, there it is,
Yeah, that's the one that gets him in the end.
Yeah, that's the one that finally gets him at the end of the movie that pops up at the door. They must really like that little fella there. Um,
Well, he was like I think the most obscure thing in the trailer.
mhm,
You know, the
yeah.
way they did the trailer for Deadstream.
Oh yeah, was it in the trailer? I did not know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that. I didn't
Yeah,
actually
they
watch the
show
trailer.
that fake creature turning in the
Oh,
woods.
they must really like that one because they brought it. They had it into Hell and Back, and something
Yeah.
that was one that I wish it didn't end, because it was just such good fun. And who else was in To Hell and Back was Chrissy or Mildred.
Yeah, Mildred. Yeah,
Yeah,
Chrissy. Yeah.
she was in there playing a wildly different character, and she was so funny in that. Like it was great. I had a
What do
good
you mean
time.
wildly different?
Oh, she like plays like because they go. I mean, this isn't really like too much of a spoiler, but like they go to hell. It's to hell and back, and she's like some kind
Okay.
of like
Wait, they
human.
go to hell, into hell and back?
Yeah. Yep.
Wait, do they go back too?
Nah, that's spoilers. We can't talk about
I'm just kidding.
that. But
Yeah.
she's in it, and she's like this kind of. She's kind of like a golem creature. She's
Yeah.
running around, she's crazy and eating like raw meat and stuff like that there in hell.
Oh.
And yeah, she's kind of their
Full
guide, but
Mildred.
yeah, you don't know whether you can trust her or not there, but she's kind of their guide into possibly getting out. It's really funny. um it almost is a little bit of world building where it has like culture a little bit in there, teased in there, but really show don't tell about it. But that's really great. You got to check that one out, dude. I was trying to pitch it to you, and I was like, "Hey, you gotta check out the VHS series. You could watch VHS 1999. It's fucking pretty good."
Yeah, no,
Um,
absolutely. So I enjoyed Deadstream. I'd like to see more of that.
yeah,
So
dude. And you don't have to watch these in those in any order, but it just kind of showed to me that like these guys have real good talent, and they're working on a budget right now, and they had to be really creative with it. But I hope that they do get more recognition because I do think the Deadstream was very successful um, for being a B horror movie. I hope that they can maybe make some, like, either if they want to go down real horror, like more horror route with light humor in there, or if they want to go full comedies, or even just branch out into something new. I would love to see them be successful later on because I'd love to see them with some real money, what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, it felt like a cult classic, honestly, like in an instant, you know.
Oh yeah,
And it
yeah,
was right. It was right up. It was right up there. And I think you brought this up earlier with Deathgasm.
yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
not as extreme as Deathgasm, because Deathgasm was just
So over the top.
like over the top, like crazy over the top, as it
Yeah,
was supposed to be.
as it's supposed
But
to be. Irreverent
it still
cult
kind of
classic.
had that, just that a really solid balance of horror and comedy with practical effects.
Mhm.
Some good gore and gag and gag gross scenes.
Mhm. Yeah.
And just some goofy kills, fun kills, gross kills. You know.
Yeah, it's great, great October time watch. And I wouldn't watch it again like this year or maybe next year, but the year after, it's worth another watch. So I wouldn't really like I would say, if you have to rent it, I'd say rent it. I think it's on Shutter right now. Um if you're a horror fan, you've probably already seen it, but it is more indie. So if you haven't seen it, you it's just ruined it for you. So, but watch it
Right.
anyway.
Definitely.
But
Definitely check it.
definitely check it out, and I think it's worth a rewatch. Like, but years down the line, after you've given it some time, have some friends over. You tell them, hey, you want to go have some laughs, have some spooks. Get a
Yeah.
little free, little ghosties in there. Have some
Right.
beers, have a few
Yeah.
laughs.
Some candy.
If you're an alcoholic, have some water. Um, yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd recommend this movie 100%.
Yeah. You know. Don't relapse seeing the holy heroin.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, don't do heroin, guys.
The more you know.
Yeah, unless it's saline, and then you say it's blessed saline. It's holy water injected into your veins. Oh, that was terrible.
Um, right. But yeah, definitely check it. Have fun. It's a good ride. It's a fun ride.
Yeah, but well, we got to talk about Hubie and what we've seen recently and all that. Um, I think we're gonna post this one before Hubie. What do you want to do?
It doesn't matter. We'll find out the order when it comes out.
Yeah, after doing some editing. If this ever comes out, maybe my PC will catch on fire. This is one of the videos that was just not meant to be made.
Apparently not.
But
But
anyway,
Deadstream was, so it's okay.
Deadstream was a good movie, meant to be made. You should watch
Right? Despite the frickin' gremlins coming back.
it. But anyway, you want to send them off? Say good night.
Yeah, have a good night,
Good night,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Um, all that.
Notification bell,
Notification bell. We don't make
comment
videos that
section.
often. You can watch us like once every like couple
Couple
months. Come
months.
on.
Unless we can actually get some of this going, because I
Yeah.
don't know, we might have more smaller videos in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to be more consistent. But anyway,
Yeah.
good night, folks.
Anyhow, good night.
Guilty!